There is a Bible verse that sounds like it belongs in ancient history, but it is actually a live portal over your life right now. Isaiah 45:3 says, "I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, the Lord, who call you by your name, am the God of Israel." That is not just poetry about a Persian king. That is a glimpse into how God hides wealth, ideas, and opportunities in places no one expects, waiting to be unlocked by alignment, obedience, and bold, faith-filled action. If you're hungry for quantum Bible wealth, if the idea of a hidden riches portal in Scripture makes your spirit sit up, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who feels stuck financially but knows deep down they're not called to stay where they are. What we're about to unpack is not hype. It's a pattern, how God works with hidden resources, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial, and how you can cooperate with that pattern without twisting the Bible into a lottery ticket. Let's start with context, then we'll dive into the quantum layer. Historically, Isaiah 45:3 is God speaking to Cyrus, a Persian king, promising him treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places as he conquers nations and releases Israel from captivity. In simple terms, God is saying, "As you walk out my assignment, I will hand you the wealth hidden in enemy vaults, so you'll know I'm the one backing you." That was real gold, real silver, real stored-up wealth in Babylon's shadows. But under that story is a principle. God knows where resources are hidden, and he ties access to those resources to calling and obedience, not random luck. In your life, you might not be conquering empires, but you are called to take territory, spiritual, relational, creative, financial. You have assignments, businesses to birth, people to help, projects to fund, legacies to build. The question is not, is there wealth in the earth? The question is, where is the wealth assigned to my calling, and how do I find the hidden doorways to it? Isaiah 45:3 says there are treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places. That sounds exactly like potential, things that exist, but not in your awareness yet, doors that are real, but not open to your current level of understanding. Now here where the quantum metaphor helps. In modern physics, the world is not made of solid little blocks. It's built from fields and probabilities. There is a quantum field for every kind of particle, and what we see, what appears as solid, is one actualized possibility out of many. In finance and creativity, the same is true in a practical sense. There are more ideas, connections, strategies, and open doors swirling around you than you can see. You only walk through the ones your awareness, beliefs, and actions allow you to recognize. The rest remain treasures of darkness, existent but hidden. When God says, "I will give you the treasures of darkness," he's not saying, "Sit still and I'll dump gold in your lap." He's inviting you to let him guide you into spaces that look dark from the outside, confusing, uncertain, even risky. But inside them are the exact resources, skills, contacts, or revelations you need. Sometimes the dark place is a season of pressure that forces you to innovate. Sometimes it's a job you didn't want that exposes you to a skill you'll later monetize. Sometimes it's a hidden niche, an overlooked audience, a problem no one is solving, where your obedience and creativity become the key that opens a vault. Think about it this way: darkness in Scripture doesn't always mean evil. It often means not yet revealed. A secret place is not a fantasy. It's a location or a configuration that exists, but is not on the surface. In quantum language, these are low-probability zones, routes most people never take. The masses cluster around obvious paths and obvious opportunities. Isaiah 45:3 is God whispering, "Walk with me, and I'll show you what everyone else is missing." That is the abundance Bible code here. God hides resources in unusual places, so only those who walk with him and think differently will find them. So how do you access this quantum wealth portal without sliding into mystical nonsense? Start with this. Isaiah 45:3 is not about greed, it's about proof. God says he gives hidden riches so that you may know that I am the Lord who calls you by your name. The wealth is evidence of relationship, not a substitute for it. In your life, the financial breakthroughs, creative ideas, and opportunities God reveals are meant to deepen your awareness. He really sees me, he really called me, he's really backing this assignment. If you chase the riches but ignore the caller, you've missed the whole point. Let's bring this into something super practical. Picture your current financial situation as a dimly lit room. You can see the obvious stuff, your job, your income, your bills. That's what most people call reality. But in the dark corners of that room, unseen by you, are treasures of darkness. Skills you haven't developed yet, relationships you haven't leaned into, markets you haven't considered, content you haven't created, prayers you haven't prayed consistently. The quantum field of your life holds all kinds of possible configurations of those elements. Some configurations lead to chronic lack, others to sustainable abundance. Isaiah 45:3 says, "Walk with God, and He will shine light on specific corners of that room, showing you what to pick up, what to move, what to build." Quantum faith, then, is not just believing money will appear. It's believing that hidden, God-assigned pathways to wealth already exist, and that your job is to receive guidance, act boldly, and stay aligned with His character while you move. That's the difference between Christian quantum manifestation and secular law of attraction. Law of attraction says, "The universe rearranges itself because I visualized something long enough." Kingdom says, "God already knows the optimum pathway. My role is to hear, obey, and cooperate." Here's a simple framework for stepping into Isaiah 45:3 as a living blueprint instead of a distant prophecy. First, consecrate the assignment, not just the outcome. Go before God and say, "Show me where my calling and provision intersect. I don't just want money, I want resources that are tied to what you built me to do." That prayer shifts you from chasing random opportunities to waiting for assignment-linked riches. It also protects you. Not every open door is your door, and not every bag of money is your treasure. Hidden riches tied to your name will always harmonize with your design and His righteousness. Second, ask for light in your dark places. Take inventory of the areas in your life that feel confusing or stuck. Maybe your career path, a business idea that never quite launched, a skill you've half learned, or a community you're part of but don't fully utilize. Begin praying Isaiah 45:3 over those exact places. "Lord, give me the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places in this specific area." Then practically start exploring, study, test, ask questions, network, experiment. Remember, Cyrus didn't find treasure by sitting still. He found it by moving through gates God opened. Third, treat ideas as currency. One of the most overlooked forms of hidden riches is insight, a concept, a system, a message, a solution. You might be asking for money, but God answers with an idea that, if nurtured, can generate value repeatedly. That idea is a treasure of darkness. It didn't exist in your awareness, then suddenly you see it. Take it seriously, write it down, prototype it. Many believers lose quantum field money because they treat God-given ideas as fleeting feelings instead of vault keys. Fourth, align your ethics with His glory. Isaiah 45's treasures were given to show that God is the Lord. If your pursuit of wealth starts to contradict His character, lying, exploiting, manipulating, you've stepped out of the portal and into a trap. Kingdom wealth is clean. It might be intense, it might stretch you, but it won't require you to become someone else. Guard your heart. The point is not to just beat the system, but to demonstrate what happens when someone builds wealth under heaven's supervision. Fifth, practice prophetic stewardship. That means managing what you have as if more is already on the way, while staying faithful at your current level. If you're asking for bigger, hidden riches, but you're careless with the little in your hand, you're telling heaven you're not ready for heavier keys. Start with practical biblical wealth hacks at your scale. Track your spending, clear a small debt, start a modest giving rhythm, educate yourself in your field. That signals to God and to your own subconscious that you're serious about managing treasures instead of consuming them. Now let's weave in the quantum analogy a bit deeper. In quantum mechanics, fields contain energy and potential everywhere, but only certain configurations become actual particles in a specific place. Likewise, the world you live in is saturated with economic potential, problems begging for solutions, sectors needing innovation, people hungry for transformation. Most of that potential never crystallizes into actual wealth for most people because they never tune their awareness or take aligned action. They stay on the surface, where competition is brutal and margins are thin. The secret places of Isaiah 45:3 are often niches, unserved communities, and unconventional approaches where competition is low and favor can be high. Ask yourself, Where has God given me unusual pain or unusual passion? Those are often clues to hidden riches. Pain points mean you see a problem differently. Passion points mean you care enough to dig deeper. Put those together with prayer and research, and you often find a quantum doorway, a place where your perspective, skill, and calling intersect with a real need. Step through that door, and you don't just make money, you unlock a flow that blesses others and confirms His call on your life. Here's something else most people miss. Treasures of darkness also includes internal riches, wisdom under pressure, emotional resilience formed in trials, spiritual authority gained in battles. Those are not just abstract virtues, they are monetizable in righteous ways. Wisdom can become coaching, books, systems, leadership. Resilience makes you the kind of person people pay to follow. Spiritual authority opens doors that credentials alone never could. Don't despise your dark seasons. Often, the deepest quantum upgrades to your wealth field happen there. So how do you know you're actually walking in this Isaiah 45, 3-dimension and not just daydreaming? Look for 3 signs. 1, you begin to just happen into connections and information that line up with your assignment. You'll hear the right conversation, meet the right person, stumble on the right resource at exactly the right time. 2, you feel internally stretched but strangely guided, uncomfortable yet accompanied. You sense you're not moving randomly. 3, when provision comes, it feels almost too tailored to be coincidence. It carries a signature that says, "I, the Lord, who call you by your name, did this." If this is stirring something in you, pause and say quietly, wherever you are, "Lord, I give you permission to lead me into hidden riches tied to my calling. I won't chase money, I'll follow you." That is your first step into the portal. Then practically grab a notebook after this video and write 3 things. What you think your main assignment is right now, what financial level would best support that assignment, and where you currently feel dark or stuck. Those are your starting coordinates. If you want more content like this, where Isaiah, Romans, Job, and other old verses become living keys for quantum faith, quantum wealth scripture, and real Bible abundance manifest in everyday life, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone you know has a call on their life, but no grid for God's financial plan. This is not about quick fixes. It's about decoding how the King hides and distributes resources.